Welcome to our January 12th meeting, the first meeting of the new year. Happy New Year. Looking forward to this year. Always looking forward. That's my opinion. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay, Harmony, would you verify our quorum, please?
Yes, sir. Director Barringham is absent. Director Odell?
Here.
Director Commission?
Here.
Oh, I see Director Barringham trying to get in. Director Nathan?
Here. Yeah, Jim should be calling in right now.
President Poland?
Jim's late. Wait.
Here.
Looks like we have 5 present. Quorum met.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining us virtually. Looking forward to when we could be face-to-face, but time will tell. The new year will tell us when that's going to be safe for us. We have expanded our license with Zoom so that we can handle at least 3 times as many people on Zoom. So hopefully we're not going to run into the problem that we did the last time. And of course, you can always join us on Facebook. As always, please use the chat box if you'd like to make a contribution. Click raise your hand behind the participant button or email us at the board at canyonlakepoa.com. And Harmony's monitoring that, and we'll pick up the your request, and we'll hear from you as soon as we can. Each of our board action items and discussion items will allow comments and questions once we have a chance to present those, and followed by discussion by the members of the board. We also have our public comment period where we welcome you to make any comments to us as you would like to see fit. These are important sessions for us, important times for us to listen to the things that you're concerned about. As you know, we work hard to try to address all those in a timely manner. Also, I'd like to remind you that there's a 3-minute limit on the amount of time you can make comments. We're not really good at holding people to 3 minutes, but we are going to have to try to do the best we can to keep our meeting moving along.
Oh, God.
So the other thing I'd like to mention is our general manager, Eric, is out of town tonight, and Lynn will be standing in for him. Okay, next on our agenda is approval of our minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes, November 9th and December 1st. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Jeannie. And do I have a second?
Sure, I'll second.
Okay. Moved and second to approve those minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to our public official comments. Casey, did you plan to make some comments for us tonight?
Yes, please.
In the garage fridge.
And so, since Darcy always gets to go first,
I will
I'm going to
defer
call on
Darcy.
Casey.
I'm fine with that.
No, go right ahead, please.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, and happy and healthy 2021 to all of you. I just wanted to stop in and say hello and give a brief update. We are in the process of selecting our interim fire chief to help get the city fire department up and running. We should be able to publicly announce the selected individual in the next couple of weeks. Our ad hoc committee of Councilmember Green and Mayor Pro Tem Smith have been working very hard on that, and so we are excited. We are in escrow to purchase the building next to City Hall from Jack Regis. This is in line with our strategic planning and economic development. Also, I wanted to inform you of some staffing changes. Senior Code Enforcement Officer Gina Dixon has taken a job doing fire inspections for the Murrieta Fire Department. So we wish her well. Ruby Manzano has been promoted to Senior Code Enforcement Officer, and we are hiring to fill Code Enforcement Officer positions. Senior Office Specialist Vicki Day has left us to spend more time traveling and enjoying her retirement with her husband. Office Specialist Aaron Enriquez has been promoted to the senior position, and our former intern Bailey Ward has been hired to fill the vacant Office Specialist position. At our meeting tomorrow night, the council will discuss the progress on the goals that we set in place for 2020. And additionally, we will be discussing some, well, I'm going to take that back. We may be adjusting our agenda in light of some missing members tomorrow. So I will just say we will go over goals that were set for 2020 and hope that anyone who is available can Zoom or join our attendance remotely. Hope you all are well, and thank you for letting me present to your membership.
Thank you very much, Casey, for joining us. Any questions for our mayor?
I have a question. Did you say that the city council meetings will now be on Zoom?
Not Zoom, I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Okay.
It will still be live stream, and if someone has public comment, they are encouraged to send over those public comments to public comment at canyonlakeca.gov. That will be read into the public comment depending on the agenda item. We are looking to try and figure out if going forward, technology such as Zoom may be helpful for our council meetings. Our goal, as you know, has always been to go back to in-person meetings as soon as possible. So we're optimistic that we won't need to move forward with that, but it's always something that's for discussion.
Literally has my.
Thank you for that clarification. And somebody needs to mute their mic.
Okay, let's move on to comments from Darcy Burke.
Thank you, President Poland, members of the board. Hard act to follow, Mayor Castillo, but I'll see what I can do. Happy New Year to everyone. And if you had a rough start, let me just remind you that the Chinese New Year is February 12th, so you can start over.
Oh, Barbara.
On the 11th, which happens to be the anniversary of Alexander Hamilton's birth, so I kind of thought it was ironic, we actually kicked off our budget workshop.
These people not have better things to do with their lives. Like, these are all 6-foot fence.
I'm sorry, Darcy, can you unmute? There you go.
Thank you. We kicked off our first budget workshop or special study session. So over the next 5 months, we will meet on special sessions, and staff will do a number of presentations to get us up to speed on what we're looking at in the financial realm. And we made it a point to make sure that we are going to ask stakeholders, whether you're a POA, a board member, or a resident of Canyon Lake or part of the city, to actually participate in those workshops. Right now they'll be virtual, and I know that maybe budgeting isn't the most exciting thing that you have on your agenda, but if you have interest in how we come up with rates or what our priorities are, I would really encourage you to tune in and ask questions. This is a long process. We plan to have our public rate setting hearing on June 10th. So there's plenty of opportunity for people to participate and get a better understanding of what the financial health and welfare of the water district is and what we're facing. I also wanted to mention that on January 1st, Metropolitan Water District of Southern California raised their rates. And that is a rate increase that we are just kind of absorbing at the moment. So an acre foot of water, which is about a football field full of water from goalpost to goalpost, a foot deep. It's enough water to service a family, about 3 families in Canyon Lake. Went up to about $1,100 an acre foot fully treated. That doesn't count energy to move it or any of the surcharges that Western puts on it. But realize, I hate to even say this, back in the day when I started in water, an acre foot of water was about $400. So in very short amount of time, in my mind, it's tripled. There's still a moratorium on shutoffs for people that are unable to pay their bill or who have failed to pay their bill. And as of right now, that is about a $1.1 million impact to the district, which is actually you. That's coming out of your pocket. We are you, right? We don't make our own money. That's the ratepayer dollars that we're looking after. And if that continues, if the governor continues to not allow us to go through a due process to get people caught up and help them with payment arrangements, that could double by June 30th. So that would also be another factor looking at our budget. Currently, the Canyon Lake Water Treatment Plant is offline, and that has been that way. We did not turn it on in October, and that was due to PFAS, or a recent contaminant level that was at a level that didn't meet state standards or new state standards. So after a very significant study, we have engaged a water quality expert to run what we call a pilot test with 2 new technologies. One is, too much detail maybe, granulated activated carbon and ion exchange. And the benefit of these 2 combination treatment approaches is not only do they remove PFAS, but they improve taste and odor. And taste and odor in drinking water in Canyon Lake has been an issue as long as I've lived here, which is about 20 years. So it has a dual benefit. This actually put our progress to make some major infrastructure investments in the treatment plant on hold. So we want to make sure that pilot test, which will run for about the next 9 to 12 months, actually does what it says it can do, and that it is as efficient as we possibly can make it. And then we will go back to addressing the major infrastructure investments that we're looking at. So you're looking at the plant being offline for about 2 to 3 years. So Art, I'm not sure if you're still on this call, but Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Your lake level will stay higher than normal for at least the next 2 to 3 years. As part of the treatment study, the board had asked staff and the consultant to come back with ways to improve water reliability, resiliency, water plant efficiencies, and one of my key asks was, how do you improve source water quality, which is really Canyon Lake. They came back with a number of really exciting options that we're going to explore, and as soon as I can tell you what they are, I will, but they go to address a number of issues, including the water quality in our lake. So I think that'll be a win-win for everybody. At the end of this month, the board will kick off a strategic planning session that will take place over the next few months. Stakeholders, POA board members, city council members, probably the chamber will be asked what their experience is, what they would like to see the district do differently, that type of thing. And then as part of that, we're also doing a rebranding exercise. And that's actually where we're going to also engage our customers and provide a survey for them to identify what their experience are with the district, maybe some areas of service that we can improve or what their priorities. And all of that information just helps me serve you better and represent you at the board, and makes our voice stronger because we have data to back it up. It's just not necessarily my opinion, but it's basically what your priorities are. So if you are approached with either an interview or a survey, I would encourage you in the next few months to please take advantage of that. Just a few other quick things. The recent rains that we had in December, actually I think 2 weeks ago, resulted in the lake raising about 1 foot, which is 2 months earlier than normal. So that's also good news. You may see more EVMWD trucks around in the next few weeks as they continue to do a camera assessment of our sewer system. We are going to start a sewer rehabilitation project by the end of the month, and so they are doing a visual inspection through cameras. If you notice during the summer, you may have seen a number of traffic signs along Canyon Lake Drive south were by residences. So they were actually on the property. That is places where we removed the meter and we put a special filter media in there. And that was to remove anthracite, or a filter media that had got into the system that were clogging up those meters and actually coming into the homes, and for a couple of our residents causing some issues. So we did a number of different types of flushing over the summer. We believe we've moved most of the anthracite for now. The meters have been replaced. Water quality testing now shows that the anthracite is not even on detect. So that's good news, and obviously we'll monitor it closely. If you are in an area that has been impacted, or you see something that looks like black coal coming from your faucet, please call the district right away and we'll send someone out to check that out. They're also going to be doing some paving, I believe, on Golden Gate Drive, which is an area where they did some repairs earlier in the year, and so they're going to take care of that. Our lobby remains open to our customers, so if you need to come in and make either payment arrangements, pay your bill, or have a question, the lobby is open every day, typical hours. And their masks are required, and there's also we unfortunately had to install some bulletproof glass a number of years ago, so that is also a barrier, which now keeps us safe from both any type of issues. I'm happy to take any questions from the board, and if the residents have any questions, please email me or call me. I promise you I answer. That's all I have, President Poland. Chris is you're muted, Chris. I can't hear you.
The boss has muted me. Now I'm unmuted. Any questions for Darcy? You may have to raise your hand to get unmuted. Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate the updates from both ED and WD and from the city. Let's move along. The next thing on our agenda is the consent agenda. Are there any requests to remove any items from our consent agenda? And if not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. I'll second.
Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we're going to move on to the board action items. The first one has to do with, oops, I went too far. Ratification of reserve funding for Santana Court for pavement replacement. Steve Snyder, would you talk to us about this, please?
Yeah, good evening. In May of 2020, the board of directors approved $44,056 for pavement rehab of Santana Court with the recommendation staff receives a project review from our pavement engineer. After review, the engineer recommended a full design to determine the best construction strategy on the cul-de-sac asphalt and base material. We would like to move forward with our engineer's recommendations. Project price includes design, entire removals of pavement and base material with full asphalt sections. Fiscal impact is, and this is total price, is $71,842. That includes the design work that our engineer did, plus a 5% contingency from the road reserves 03670. Staff requests the board of directors approve the additional funding of $27,786 for a total project amount of $71,842 plus a 5% contingency from the road reserves 03670.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Steve. Can I have a motion to approve this ratification of reserve funding?
So moved.
Second.
Second? Any discussion? Do you have any questions or comments from the community?
I have no hand raised or any messages. But Lynn, you'll have to check the board email. I don't have access. I don't believe we have any, sir.
Okay. I'd like to call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? A motion carried. I expect that we're going to see more and more of these kind of repairs moving forward. We're getting getting past the point where we can start repairing and spending the money that we received from our settlement on the last asphalt job that we had done. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this going forward. Next item we have is the ratification and member concerns related to parking and traffic issues. The kind of facility planning committee recommendation. Jeannie, you're going to do this one? Got to unmute Jeannie.
Yeah, Steve Schneider can stay unmuted so he can help me with this too. I'm unmuted.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, because it said my internet connection was unstable or something. So Steve Schneider, you're going to help me, right, with this one?
Sure.
Okay, so back in September, the board of directors voted to accept recommendations from the FPC for striping at Village Way and Canyon Lake Drive. Once it was laid out in the field, it appeared that additional striping and the addition of a red curb in front of the residence along Canyon Lake Drive South is needed. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. As we all know, sometimes things look good on the plans, but when you actually go out there to lay it out in the field, sometimes the field conditions require some additional modifications. So FPC did lay this out based on the recommendations from Wildan, but the striping contractor that was doing the work for us made some additional recommendations based on his many years of expertise. Steve, did I summarize that part correctly?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So you'll see an attachment, a nice sketch that Steve did for us. And so we do need to approve the additional striping and red curbing as shown on the sketch for a cost of not to exceed $2,000 from the road repair project or road repair reserve fund. This is needed for additional safety of the people exiting Village Way onto Canyon Lake Drive South.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve this recommendation.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion?
Just clarification. There's a sketch and then there's a professional drawing. And the sketch shows striping on both sides of the intersection. If you come out of the cul-de-sac street with a stop sign, I understand there'll be striping to the left. But the sketch shows striping to the right. Is that part of the project?
The striping on the left is striping that we originally approved back in September. The striping on in the middle, the installation of the white skip line and the red curb and like the curved line over on the right is the new striping or additional striping.
And then red curbing, sorry, Judy, you just said that. The red curbing is note 1 on that sketch.
I'm sorry, red curbing is what?
Note 1 on that sketch. Nope, go.
No, the hand-drawn sketch. There you go.
Oh. Okay. So the hand-drawn sketch
Is the changes we're asking for.
So note 1, 2, and 3 is an additional striping to what was already done. The other lines that are on that drawing have already been completed from the board approval in September.
Okay. Thank you.
And Steve, will you help me clarify one more item too? Red curbs are required by code. You can't park how close to a stop or a curve anyway? What, 12 feet?
I don't know the exact footage on that.
So part of this, they can't park on that curve anyway because it's adjacent to that corner. So it's just to further reinforce the fact that there's no parking on that corner.
Just out of curiosity, what is the what problem is this solving? I'm not a traffic engineer, I can't tell, but I was curious what we're solving here.
We're solving exiting from Village Way onto Canyon Lake Drive South. Village Way, they stop way back behind the corner, and then they inch out into traffic to try and see any kind of oncoming traffic. I can't speak tonight for some reason. Oncoming traffic. So they inch out. So this just gives them some limit lines to, where's a safe place to stop before exiting onto Canyon Lake Drive South.
And the dashed or the skip line, the dashed white line is to keep golf carts to not veer more towards the corner, if you will, to where their car could potentially be.
Okay. Okay, I understand. And that, the stop sign is really for the people that are exiting the cul-de-sac side of Village Way, right?
Yes, and that's existing currently.
Okay. All right, very good. Any other comments or questions? Any comments from the community?
None that we see, sir.
Okay, call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Moving on to a bit of a housekeeping chore, item 7.3, ratify abandoned projects in 2020. Steve?
In July of 2020, the board of directors approved a project list which included a playground equipment for Moonstone Beach. After investigation, it was determined there was inadequate room to meet the current playground safety standards and have an actual usable playground for the community to enjoy. In August 2020, the board of directors approved $43,500 for the addition of partial of underground utilities for proposed future community building before the lodge parking lot was in its final paving stages to avoid future tearing up or new parking lot. After the board approval, the staff attempted to seek permits from EBMWD to do this project, which was denied because it was not a complete project. This project will need to wait until the future community building design is complete and approved by the board of directors. Fiscal impact estimated $150,000 in non-spending, so we're not spending approximately $150,000. Staff requests the board of directors to ratify the abandonment of the following 2020 projects for lack of feasibility: Moonstone Beach playground installation and underground utilities at the tennis schools.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? So Steve, just to clarify, this does not abandon the work that's underway at Moonstone Beach that we decided to do instead of this playground installation. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, the main reason why we did not move forward with the playground equipment is because of the close proximity to the lake and the close proximity to the parking lot. There's too many safety factors to incorporate in this project, and we would end up with literally a 10 by 10 or 5 by 5 playground, which is not even worth placing there in Moonstone.
And Steve, could you inform the members why the swing set was removed due to safety standards? Could you just elaborate on that?
The swing sets like that have been out of compliance for a while, and it's time for us to remove it from the park.
And our insurance company directed you to do that, I believe?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Any comments from the members?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, are you waiting on me? We don't have any comments.
I know.
Okay, I was waiting. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of ratifying the abandonment of these two projects, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Next thing on our agenda is to pass a resolution about the restatement of our updated bylaws. I'd like to clarify that we've been working on our bylaws regularly for a long time, ever since the community was first organized. And over the years, the bylaws have been updated. So the amount of tracking that has been done to justify the updates and make sure that everything was following along in an orderly manner and correct had not been done to the satisfaction of previous boards and our legal team. And they wanted us to go back and to validate the bylaws as we have them today and create a trail of why all those changes have been made, and that they have been made in a consistent manner with what the members wanted. So that process has taken quite a while, many months actually, and has come to conclusion. Our legal team has delivered to us a set of bylaws that they believe are consistent with all the decisions that have been made over the years and are now documented and footnoted, and that any of the few very small loopholes that are in there are of no significant concern. They've told us that the board of directors, since this is no change to our bylaws, it's just a validation of the restatement that this is the bylaws, this is what they are, and this is how they've been documented, that can be done by the board in open session. Any change to our bylaws, any change to the actual terms and conditions of our bylaws require member vote. And we'll be looking at that going forward as we have in the past. But we wanted to get to where we had a fully restated set of bylaws. They will go in our owner's manual for the new owners. They will go on the website, and they will be the basis of any discussion that we have going forward on changes to the bylaws. It's very interesting. If you look at the bylaws today, and there is, if you're interested, there is a copy available that has a red mark and strikeout in it that shows where all the changes have occurred over the last 50 years. Those changes have to do with things that we have been required to do under the Davis-Sterling Act as it has matured, having to do with meeting notices, meeting participation, voting at meetings, changes that we've made ourselves, the idea that we don't accept proxies anymore or cumulative voting. Other changes that we made is that we said that we would only spend $200,000 on real property and $800,000 over 2 years on improvements, on capital improvements, unless we had a vote of the people. That's in there. The number of directors have changed over the years, their terms of office. There's a big section that's been added about the indemnification of directors, officers, and employees. That's very important to all of us, especially the volunteers and the employees. We're all out here doing the very best that we can, and it is important that we receive the kind of indemnification that is appropriate and valid under the law. There's changes have been made in the membership register and when it's closed for voting purposes, the need for accounting records and what they ought to look like. And then there's a statement in there about the maximum amount of debt that the association can take on. This has been in the bylaws, but it's in there. Wasn't in there in the beginning. And then some rules about how amendments can be made. So I just wanted to take a minute to let you know that we now have a restated set of bylaws. They do not represent any change that we're trying to slip in or sneak in on the membership by any means, but we have a set of bylaws that we can publish now. They're very similar. They're virtually the same of what we've been working on over the years, and the board can pass a resolution to adopt these. So the resolution is in the board book. It's a resolution of the Board of Directors of Canyon Lake Property Owners Association. I won't read it, but it basically talks about what I just talked about. And I would like to entertain a motion from the board to accept this restatement of our bylaws.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion from the directors? Any comments from the community?
No, we have no comments.
No emails.
Chris, I do have a comment that I want to thank the staff for their really hard work and research and all the work that went into identifying the deficiencies and correcting them. As I read through them, it was pretty incredible how much stuff had to be upgraded and updated. And I'm sure it wasn't easy for them to do, and I want to thank them for that.
And I believe, Lynn, this is basically your work with Harmony, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Harmony and I worked on it together.
Great job.
So I
Yeah.
thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Joe. I appreciate you saying that. It was a very huge piece of work representing many hours. In my mind, this is all part of our community maturing and becoming a very, very strong and well-organized community to get our bylaws so that they are fully in order. Okay, I'd like to call for the question. All those in favor of approving our restated bylaws, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Next thing we want to talk about is our proposed POA architectural standards. These are going to come up on the screen here in just a moment. These were introduced last month in a draft form, first draft copy that Eric had prepared. And over the last month, we have put together a set of comments. And we've made a significant number of additions that I wanted to just review with you, because I think it represents an important step in the life of our community to really work toward expanding and creating the kind of unified community that Eric and the staff have been doing over the last couple of years as it relates to how our buildings are being refreshed and our signage is being refreshed. All those things are now put into a document that will live beyond this board and boards to come, hopefully mature, and create the kind of standard that we need, that we will benefit from as we continue to work to improve our community and its visibility in our area. So if you could scroll down a little bit, I'd just like to say a few things about the overview. Go to the next page, please. There is an overview written in here that has a lot of familiar words to you. If you've been following what we're doing, we are governed by articles of incorporation, bylaws, and declarations of restrictions, which we call our CC&Rs. They regulate how we're supposed to look, the kind of structures that we're supposed to build, how we're supposed to keep our community maintained, and how it ought to appear. These goals are there to create and maintain a consistently clean, attractive neighborhoods and homes and recreational amenities, and to promote quality living. These are all the things that were given to us when this community was established. They're part of our governing documents, and it takes a monumental effort to get any of this stuff changed, as you probably know. This community was established in 1968. If you're new here, it has many different buildings, facilities, common areas that have all been developed over time with different boards and different ideas. They support our various recreational activities, our sports activities. They include all the different amenities that we all enjoy. They represent a large number, over 50 buildings that have been built over different times and honestly appear somewhat different. And we believe that there's a general lack of consistency to suggest that this is a unified planned community. And that's part of what our core values and purpose and vision have talked about. We want our community to be going forward. We always like to say, and we're going to continue to work toward being a family-oriented community with a wide range of demographics that aspires to become one united, sought-after resort-style community for the permanent residents with a wide variety of recreational interests. So we've created a framework, and if you could scroll down to the next page, we've created a framework that talks about this from a very high level, that talks about we want our new structures designed by licensed design professionals, architects, and their design teams. We want them to support the function that they are intended to be, to match the nearest surrounding existing structures, to contribute to our unified appearance, and conform to the rural, suburban environment and Mediterranean climate of the Southwest Riverside County. This is how we talk about what we want our building to be. Also, we're saying and we're declaring that each project should be designed with sustainability and resilience and life cycle cost in mind, and be free of exposed utilities, conduits, equipment. All the projects should meet the requirements of our CC&Rs. All those things are just to say that we want our buildings to be good contributors to our community. We want them to be contributors to sustainability and to resilience. We go on to explain about sustainability and resilience, and it really has to do with doing our part to make sure that we are contributing to the sustainability of our region and our nation. On the parts that we can do real short on, we're working hard to conserve the amount of water that we use. We're talking seriously about a solar generation ability to produce our own power, help in those regards. There are certain characteristics when you design buildings that you can reach to improve sustainability. Resilience is all about planning how we're going to recover from a natural disaster. And we have the big three natural disasters that affect us: floods, wildfires, and earthquakes. And we want to make sure that as we develop our community and look at our buildings, that we're thinking about how we're going to recover and how those buildings can help service us in that recovery. There's also a statement in here that says that as we work on our existing buildings, we want our existing buildings to strive to meet these same standards as we have for our new buildings, as it's feasible for us. But the best time to upgrade a building and restore it and improve its appearance and its contribution to our community is when it's under reconstruction or under refurbishment, and that's when we want to have that done. So then the following, this is, let me just say something about the life cycle cost expectations. We had a little conversation a couple of months ago about the dishwasher at the lodge. There was some chatter about that, but it was such a wonderful example of it. This is our community. This is our equipment. We have to pay for it. We have to pay to repair it, and we have to pay to replace it because the community is going to be here long after all of us have stopped using it. And so life cycle cost planning says we want to spend the appropriate amount of money so that we don't have to replace something or repair it unnecessarily, that it makes sense to invest in the future, but not to get carried away. And that's what those life cycle cost expectations are about. And we want to build that into our community because it's our community, and we will use it and live with it, and it'll be ours for a long time. So then, as you can scroll down, and you can just go through this slowly, there is a catalog here of what we have been doing over the last few years. If you could please scroll down a little bit. Whoever has control of the screen.
Sorry, it's me. Yes, sir. Trying to have somebody log in.
There we go. So we've got colors and materials of shade structures, exterior, colors and materials, what we're talking about in terms of our signage, what we're talking about in terms of landscaping. It's great to write this stuff down. We can see the consistency. We can draw consistency. That also gives us a predetermined roadmap of how we're going to move forward to keep that consistency going on. This is a living document. It's put down here for review by the community and by the board. I would like to see us adopt this at the next meeting. Very interested, if you're interested in this aspect of our community and how it appears, I'd be very glad to hear from you about any suggestions you have for us on this architectural guideline. Okay, it's been posted as a discussion item. Any comments from the directors?
Well, I think it's long overdue. I think it's a great idea. I think they did a great job, and well, long overdue. I'm glad to see it.
Thank you.
I would second that.
I just want to make sure that the community understands this has nothing to do with our individual homes. This is solely with POA common facilities such as the lodge, the country club, the parks, the baseball field, the Eastport. It has nothing to do with our individual homes. This document is also going to be taken to our facilities planning committee, who are made up of representative members of the community for their input as well. So we're making sure that this has to do with POA facilities only.
Thank you, Jeannie. And in that same regard, we're going to ask our Architectural Control Committee to review the document and to let us know what their comments are. We believe that it's fully consistent with all of our CC&Rs, but they're our group that oversees that, and we want to hear their comments about what we've written down. Other comments from the board? Any comments from the community?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. The next thing we have on our agenda is member comments on non-personnel issues. So do we have any member comments?
Yes, we have two. First, we have Art Bemister.
Okay. Hello, Art.
Yes. I'm sorry. Should I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. So first, I want to wish everybody a very happy New Year. Hope everybody had a great holiday season. Enjoy time with your family and friends and get time to relax. Also to Darcy Burks, if you're still there, thank you for thinking of me, I think. I guess that means I was a pain in the butt about the water level, but thank you. That's great news. So the new lodge parking lot and everything looks awesome. It really does. Steve and Eric and everybody involved in that looks great. The only issue, and I know you can't respond, but it'd be great if there was a statement put out somewhere in the future of why the car parking, vehicle parking for non-handicapped, in other words, regular people, was taken away. I went there last night to pick up some to-go food, and all the curbs are now red where they used to be green for short-term parking. I think about 3 or 4 car spots that are directly in front of the lodge for short-term parking for picking up food to go, to drop and pick off people, to drop things off when you're having a wedding, that's all gone. They just added more golf cart parking, and we're all scratching our heads. There were 2 other people waiting for food at the same time as I was. I brought it up, of course, not being shy. They all jumped in right away, and an unnamed person that works at the lodge was saying the same thing too. We're at a loss. Why? Unless there's a really good reason why, and there may very well be, and I know you can't respond, but I wish you could. Maybe it's a code issue, but you've got 3 signs out there today saying the lodge is open for to-go food. We want people to buy food there to help it, especially now when that's the only thing they offer. But yet when you go to get it, you have to park out in the main parking lot. So it just seems kind of odd when I go to Chili's, to Applebee's, or any other place, BJ's, there's parking directly in front of the front door, as close as it can be, for to-go orders. You can walk up there and get your food and get out of there. Or a friend said, hey, I drank too much. Can you wait? Can you come pick me up? And you're going to go pick them up, or whatever it may be. You just can't do that. It's completely gone, and all the curbs are red. So I just don't understand the logic, but there may be a very good reason. I just don't know, but I'd like to see the board put a statement out somewhere, because I know you can't talk now, but also when you're having weddings and stuff like that, and people come up and go, well, where do we offload? I mean, right now, I guess you got to park down below, then come up a service elevator to bring all your stuff up, or park out in the main parking lot. And summertime, I just don't see people parking down by the beach, walking all the way up the hill to get food to go. And then it would take you longer to do that than it would be to drive. So that's all. Otherwise, it looks awesome. I have to believe there was a good reason for it. If not, there's green paint. It's real cheap. Paint the curbs, 15-minute parking only, and away you go. And if someone abuses that, then put a camera out there and let the security watch it. So that's all I wanted to say. But again, thank you again. Looks awesome, and hope everybody has a happy New Year. And look forward to seeing you all in person. Thank you again.
Thanks a lot, Art. Those are good suggestions. Steve, I wonder if we can't enter into a dialogue here, but Steve, I wonder if you could just give us a little historic perspective.
Sure. Mainly because it was abused. It was abused every day. It was abused constantly. And also the fire marshal and our when Fiesta Day and our other items there, they didn't like that there was green curb painted there. So during this project, the decision was made to go ahead and make it a red curbing. That's exactly why, and not to do dialogue, but for Art's saying, if you're parking down the beach to walk into the lodge, there's parking a lot closer than that. So you should probably pick a closer spot.
I think, Art, you're making a good, really don't want to have a discussion. I think you've made a very good point. I think we can have a look at this. Like you said, it's about paint. We can do that. There are requirements about handicap parking. I remember when we were putting this together, there was concern about having the handicap parking close enough. These are all conflicting things, right? Nobody knew we were going to have COVID 3 years ago when we designed all this stuff. We didn't have COVID when we started on the project. We didn't have food to go until COVID. So they're making very good points, and I think it's something that we can have a look at. I'd like to move on to the next member comment.
Okay, we have member Debbie Johnson.
Hello, can you hear me?
Debbie? Yes, I can.
Hi. Okay, thank you for giving me time to make comment. My comment concern is about the closure of Happy Camp. I'm not sure why we closed it when, to my knowledge, all other private campgrounds are open. State regulations allow private campgrounds to stay open. We pay POA dues for our campground. I'm not aware of data linking COVID to campgrounds, and it's a great way for our families to social distance and be outdoors, which is healthy. So moving forward, I'd like to look at ways how we can stay open versus how we can just close. I don't know, I mean, if there's why, I guess you can't have discussion why someone can't answer why they closed it. If it's because of the staff, not, being exposed to having to clean the bathrooms. If that's the case, we could do self-contained vehicles only, residents only. I'd just like us to look at ways that we could open this amenity up for our community.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Appreciate your comments. I'm gonna, of course, Eric's not with us tonight, so he's the one that fundamentally makes these decisions. But I'm gonna ask Lynn if she has some insight into why we've done this. And like I said, we don't want to enter into a discussion. You make a good point. We could look into it. But Lynn, do you have anything you can contribute?
Yes, sir, we could look into it. Previously, when the directions were made to make the changes, it was based on the regulations that had been implemented with the stay-at-home order or the modifications, and we have just been following those guidelines this whole time, so we were consistent. And campgrounds was previously included with the recent stay-at-home order, so that's where we made that decision, but we could look at it again without getting into too lengthy of a discussion.
Okay, that would be great because state campgrounds are closed.
I understand. I think, Debbie, thank you so much. You've made your point.
Okay.
And we're going to take a look at it. We got it. You're on target.
Chris,
Steve about
I think everybody understands how difficult maneuvering our way through all the regulations is, especially when things open and close and open and close. But we'll have a look at it. Okay.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Chris, may I set the record straight about the POA dues in the campground? The campground is pretty much a non-subsidized facility. So the POA, the members do not actually pay a subsidy, meaning coming from your dues, on a normal year. And actually, on the contrary, this COVID year, the campground is positive about $125,000 because of when it was open, it was used so much. So I saw set the straight on the Facebook pages where people should get a discount because you can't use the campground. It's a non-subsidized amenity.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Who's next, Harmony?
Next, we have member Renee Griffiths.
Hello, Renee.
Hello, Happy New Year. I wanted to, do you want my ID number?
Name and track and lot, please.
Okay, Renee Griffiths, 3778-154. And if you hear crying in the background, that's my dog, not a wounded child. One of the things I want to thank you so much for your hard work on moving forward with the pump track and having that in phase 1. And I know that it's with the city council. So 2 questions. If one is to think about, one is an ask. Would it be helpful if the community reaches out to the city council to encourage them to maybe move swiftly if they're not moving swiftly to get the approval? So if that's a help, please let us know because we'd love to help. And if that's a hindrance, going to tick someone off, please let us know because we don't want to do that to the city. And then second, and this is more for consideration, because I'm by an empty lot where a lot of kids enjoy, and it's so much fun watching them ride their bikes. And I'm always happy when I see kids out riding their bikes versus, I don't know, maybe playing video games where they're killing each other and all that other stuff in their home. So that's unfortunately just been shut down because it's private property. I understand that. And I was wondering, in the interim, until the pump track is completed, if the board could give a temporary pass to, and I was thinking of maybe Evans Park, since there's already trails there. And I don't know how often it's used. I've only walked my dog once there, but maybe allowing kids to ride their bikes at Evans Park, since there is no park that they can ride their bikes. And I think it's safer for them to be there than on the streets. So that's something just for consideration for you guys to think about. And I just, looking at all the parks, I thought Evans might be the best. Could be totally wrong, but just something to help these kids as we wait for the pump track to be completed. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Renee.
We have no other hands raised. Lynn, do you see any in the board emails?
I didn't a minute ago. No, ma'am.
You know, I wanted to respond to Renee's comment about the pump track and the city council. Lynn, do you have some information about that? I saw an email, but I
Oh,
thought
yes.
you might have the
So part of
next credible information.
the GM update that I was going to give the members is that it is pending city approval. There was delays with the plan check process, but staff is moving forward with staff is moving plan review forward. So they've been in contact with them, but there has been some delays on their part. And so it's pending right now still.
I think it's also fair to clarify that it's in the building department.
Yes,
it's the
in
plan
the
check
building
process.
department, not correct.
We are seeking a permit, and we're trying to get our permit so we can go out to bid, and we can then make the decisions that are necessary how we get to put this together. So I don't want Mayor Castillo or the city council to get blamed for what's going on directly with getting this building permit. It's one of those issues that none of us are very happy about when we're trying to get something built and getting to get building permits.
All right. Thank you for the update.
Okay, thank you. Okay, no other member comments. Then I think we'll move on to our association reports. Lynn, do you want to give the general manager's report?
Sure. Okay, so I wrote something down, so I'll just read through that. So Happy New Year, everyone. We hope that we hope that 2021 will be a much better year for everyone. We know so many people experienced significant challenges last year. We all are looking forward to a new year and plan to continue to improve services, support our membership, and wish for a healthy and positive year for everyone. We want to thank the board, staff, local agencies, and the community for helping us adapt, which has become my favorite word around here, to every change and curveball that has been tossed at us this last year. We know at times it's been difficult, but we thank everybody for their efforts. So to give some project updates, pavement project is complete. The landscape project at the lodge on the ADA ramp is in progress. It's to be completed within the next week-ish. Moonstoke Park upgrades. Steve mentioned, I think briefly earlier, that it's work in progress on the new tables, barbecues, etc. Estimated completion is this month. Happy Camp Playground. There was some scheduled delays with unforeseen circumstances. They are now working on continuing that project, working to get installed. I just mentioned the Sierra Park North pending approval with the city planning department. And then the operations department has such a lengthy report. And so if you need want to look at the full list of projects, please read that detailed report provided in the member packet. They have all kinds of updates, so they are a very busy department. A couple updates on food and beverage. So I think Art had mentioned the restaurants are open for takeout. We did start offering delivery through DoorDash for both restaurants now. We're up and running at the Lighthouse. Unfortunately, like I mentioned about the COVID restrictions, we're still on the takeout and delivery dining only. Hopefully that will change soon. But again, the POA has kind of followed the guidelines to be compliant with the rules of all of these COVID restrictions. So that's that. Activities. So we are planning the 2021 concert planning has begun underway. Upcoming advertising is to be announced. However, all concerts are pending COVID restrictions. Additional activities and events are tentatively being planned pending these ongoing COVID restrictions. I'm sorry I have to keep saying that. Things at the POA. The staff has been working on the draft budget for the 21-22 fiscal year. The Finance Committee has begun to review the budget with the department managers. Staff's been working on review and presentation of an updated software project for the CLPOA, which would include reservations of amenities, online services, and member services functions. Further information will be provided at an upcoming meeting. For communication, so we always are getting emails. I got several tonight about I can't get into the meeting or where do I get this information. So we always are encouraging members to sign up through the POA website under Notify Me. You can receive text and email alerts on POA news, food and beverage specials and advertising, and upcoming community news. There's tons and tons of information. Once you sign up, then you start getting the alerts. So it was created for that purpose, to try to get the information out to the members. We ask that you look at the project pages for updates and photo albums on all the projects in process and completed. The Flickr photo album is, if you don't like to read, that is an excellent way to just go in and look at all the pictures of all the projects. It's pretty awesome. The staff report also in communications includes information on social media, the website, pending advertising, and POA news. In our community patrol report, there's a very detailed report provided with monthly stats, incident reports, gate access, and department information. So please read that for further details. And last but not least, in this report, as staff and many members have noticed this past year, our planning and compliance and ACC department has been exceptionally busy. They've had a full schedule working with members on getting their applications and plans processed for completion of those requests. There's additional details for those members that would like to get stats on the amount of applications and things that that department and the committee have been working on this past month. And I do not have any additional information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Appreciate you
Welcome.
giving us a great report. Any questions or comments for Lynn? I would just like to echo what she said about taking time to look at the multiple pages at the end of the board book. You'll find it on the website if you haven't seen it, with all the reports that we have on the activities and things that are being done. It really is quite remarkable. And my great thanks goes out to our staff for their continuing work in pushing forward our community and turning it into a better place every day. I appreciate that. Okay, we're ready for board comments. Joe, you want to go first? I don't see your face, Joe. Are you there?
He had a few issues in the meeting. I had to let him in. He might need to rejoin soon.
He just texted me his computer's down again.
Okay, so maybe you can call in. Jeannie, do you want to go?
Sure. As Lynn kind of briefly mentioned, the Finance Committee we're totally involved in the budget process for fiscal year 21-22. The Finance Committee received their budget books last Friday, and they will be meeting with the individual department managers over the next couple of weeks to review the manager's proposed budget. Make sure it kind of follows along with the budget model that was approved by the board back in December. And we'll come together again as a committee on the 26th and 27th to review all of the questions and comments that were raised with the department managers and make any recommendations to staff for modifications to the budget, which will then come to the board for discussion at our February 18th, 2021 board budget workshop. I encourage members to please attend. That's the first look at our 21-22 fiscal year budget, as well as we're going to be doing some projections out for a couple of years so that we get a bigger picture or a bigger understanding of where our budget is going, what our needs are. So I really encourage our members to join us. The Finance Committee is hard at work, and I want to thank staff and the general manager for getting us to this point with the proposed budgets. The Facilities Planning Committee got a couple of important updates from them as well. Thanks to Steve Schneider and operations staff, the mailbox lights were installed both at Longhorn and Appaloosa and Continental at Cruise Circle East. I think I have that location correct. And back in October, the board asked staff to install fixtures at these two locations based on the recommendations from the Facilities Committee, with the hope that members would provide comments as to what they think about the lights. And whether we should proceed with installing them at other locations. So once again, I really encourage our members to please take a look at the lights that were installed at the mailboxes on Longhorn and Appaloosa and Continental and Cruise Circle East, and send us emails if you have any comments. You can send the emails to board@canyonlakepoa.com. Excuse me. And then the Facilities Planning Committee will be meeting via Zoom this Thursday. And on their agenda, they will be looking at the concepts for the Center Median Landscape Project as directed by the board, the campground restroom, and the Lodge Dog Park, with the intent of getting our comments to staff for presentation over the next couple of months to the board. So those are my committee updates, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Jeannie. Joe, you're back. Would you like to go
I
next?
am back, and I apologize. My computer's gone down 3 times now during this meeting. I apologize. Fortunately, I'm able to get it back right away.
Thank you.
I have 3 committees that I serve on, and the Appeals Committee is still meeting via Zoom. It's working out well. We're down to once a month meetings, and Mary Ziegler is doing a fine job keeping us on track. So that's all going positively. Tuesday Work Group, their board meetings have been dark for December and January, but they've gotten approval to continue the work on the golf course because they're able to maintain their masks and social distancing when necessary. And they're currently working on replacing about 60 feet of cart path, golf cart path. That's concrete. That's breaking, removing, compacting, and pouring, forming and pouring. It's a big job. These are a great group of senior guys that are volunteers for the community, and they do a great job. They are looking for more volunteers. So if any of you are interested in working on the golf course or helping out, and sharing your talents, just find your way down to the golf course maintenance yard, and anyone on the golf course can direct you to that. It's 7:30 any Tuesday morning, and they'll welcome you with a cup of coffee and donut and put you to work at 8 o'clock. So just show up. Green Committee is also dark December and January, and typically meet the second Thursday of the month in the Magnolia Room downstairs at the golf course. And hopefully they'll be meeting in February, but time will tell. I want to thank our Mayor, Lisa Castillo, for her report. And I'm really excited about the fire department moving forward, and the fact that they're hiring a fire chief, and I'm excited about that. I think that's long overdue, and it'll be a great addition to our community. Lynn mentioned DoorDash. It was on my list to mention the community. It is available at both the restaurants, so it'd be great if people would make more use of that service. And Dwelling Live was the other thing I wanted to talk about. I have a phone app for Dwelling Live, and I have it on my computer. And whenever I call in a guest, it's a quick 2-minute process, especially if I get a phone call when I'm away from home. It's an easy process to just input your guest name and pick the date that they're coming in, and you're done. You don't have to worry about phone calls, busy lines, waiting on hold, or anything else. You can just do it yourself online. So take advantage of that and sign up for Dwelling Live. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Jim, do you want to go next?
Sure. I don't have a lot to report. The senior center is still closed. And I don't see it opening, doesn't appear anytime soon. And from the Fairway Estates, I have nothing to report there. So I'll just make mine very short.
Okay, Jim, thank you. Tom.
Thank you. As Darcy was talking about earlier tonight about the the plant below the dam, it sounds like we're going to have at least an abundance of water in the lake, which is a good thing for most. And looking at this year, it doesn't look like it's going to be a big rain year anyway. So probably a good time for it to have happened if it's going to happen. It could be worse, but COVID is looking like it's got a stranglehold on us and still moving forward. So we still do what we can here, but understand as a board that it's our job and the staff's job to protect our members in the community. And so while you'll be out there seeing that maybe some restaurants are ignoring the dine-in order or people are doing things that are really against the COVID order, we have a responsibility to all our members and want to make sure that we protect them and don't unnecessarily put somebody into a place where we end up getting sued, and ultimately that means you get sued. So bear with us. We're doing our best to get through all this and get back to normal whenever that might happen. It may not be in the next couple months. It doesn't look like it, but hopefully moving forward, we'll see a better summertime. And that's it for me tonight. Thank you. Oh, let me, one more thing. Committee reports.
Okay.
Committee reports is easy. December, the rec committee was dark, and in January, February, and March, we've moved our board meetings to the same day as the rec committee meeting. So rec committee is currently trying to reschedule its meetings to a different time so it doesn't conflict with these meetings.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Well, I'd like to say it's obviously been a quiet month through the holidays. I hope everybody enjoyed their holidays. It's nice to have a peaceful meeting. It was good to have a great discussion last time, but we had a short discussion tonight. That's good. It did provide a time for us to do some good, solid thinking about our community and moving forward and how we might deal with some of the issues. One of those issues obviously has to do with political flags and signs. And I've been promising and saying for the last number of months that we're going to deal with that issue. Even said last month that we're going to deal with it this month. And I think for obvious reasons, and I hope you concur with me, that there was no good process to deal with that right now. We want to let the process that's going on across our nation play out before we get to worrying about our own signs. I will say to you that in the process of doing that, because I took this on myself, I prepared two different complete ideas about how we might modify our rules to try to accommodate that careful balance between personal freedom of speech, and our community aesthetics and how people feel about their community and what they consider to be quality living. And it really, as I went through that process, to me, it really focused, and Tom Nathan helped me with this, it really focused down on our community's aesthetics and what it is that we see about ourselves and what do we want to see as we look for that balance. And that's kind of the direction that those thoughts are going. But I wanted you to know that I hadn't swept that under the rug. Been thinking about it a lot, and we will be dealing with that going forward. As far as the ACC, I am the liaison to the ACC and attend their meetings, and it is a very productive working group of people worried about how our community looks and what is the right things to do. I'm pleased to see that they have just developed a longer list of projects that they can approve over the counter. And going and doing projects myself, it's nice when you can do something over the counter because you could get instant approval of what needs to be done. And there's just a lot of things that we keep track of that can go. Our ACC always has a look at what's been decided after the fact, but it is one of those things that we're doing to try to streamline the process and make the members' experience a little bit better, dealing with our community's CC and ours. I continue to meet every week with Eric and the legal team, and that's just what the president and the general manager do behind the scenes, work closely together, and I'm just pleased to tell you that we work really well closely together, and we'll continue to do that. And while you don't get to hear all the facts about all those conversations, you get to observe the benefits of the things that are going on around here because of that. The last thing I'd like to say is that I did say we're going to have a North Ski task force. We're going to deal with rules about dealing with our water in the North Ski area and the backwater area. Haven't forgotten that. It has just gotten eclipsed by everything else that's going on. We will have new rules of some sort before the summer and the ski season begins, but that's going to also come about in the next few months. And Tom will be helping me with that. So I appreciate you all joining us. It was a good meeting. Thank you for your contributions and your comments. Thanks to the directors for all you do. We don't have any appeals tonight. That's nice. I think that's a good statement about everything that's going on, since we heard that the ACC is busier than usual, planning and compliance is busier than usual. There's a real focus on trying to get things done in the way that we are set out and are supposed to do, and it's obvious that those things are happening. I'm very happy to see that. Our next meetings will be on February 9th, both executive session and regular session. And with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, I've got a moved and seconded to adjourn our meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, folks. See you next month.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.